Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're going to talk about negotiating your pay. And let's talk about three topics that still make it so many women and some men squirm. So, number one is going to be negotiating money during an interview. And number two is going to be asking for a raise during reviews. And number three is requesting a review when you feel it's time for a raise. Specifically, why so many women, even today, find it hard to ask for what they're worth. We've proven ourselves in the workplace. We've raised families, we've run departments, we've balanced budgets. And yet, when it comes to asking for fair pay, we shy away. You're hoping that maybe they've noticed what a great job I'm doing and they'll just offer it up to you on a silver platter, but that rarely happens. And that's what we're going to discuss today, why it happens, what men do differently, and how we can finally change the conversation, maybe for good. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and tap that notification bell. It really helps, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you. All right, let's dig in. We've all been there in this interview chair or performance review, smiling politely, but our heart is pounding. We're waiting for them to mention the magic number. And when they do, it ends up being lower than what we expected. But before we can even process it, we're already saying something inside like, don't push it. Just take it. And don't make it awkward. So we say yes. And later we walk to our cars feeling oddly deflated. We got the job, but we didn't get the money we deserved. So the problem isn't that we don't know what we're worth. We're raised to equate politeness with acceptance. We've been told in both subtle and obvious ways that a good woman doesn't challenge authority, that confidence in women is off putting, and that gratitude should always come before negotiation. Which leads me to in why I did this video in this subject. So I have to tell you a little story. I was at my last doctor's appointment, and my doctor let me know that she was moving from this hospital to a completely different hospital. It was a position she always wanted. She couldn't wait to get over there and start. But she told me then, she goes, "Oh my gosh." She said, "I forgot. It is so hard to negotiate pay. And I don't know why. We know we deserve it." But she said it was so hard. But she stuck to her guns. She did the preparation that we're going to go over in this video. And she did get that offer. And then she extended it to a fellow doctor who was going through the same thing and gave them the tips. And they too said, "I don't think I'm going to be able to do that." And she said, "You will. You'll be able to do it. Just do it." And the other doctor, she did. And she did get her offer too. So it can be done. We just have to stick to our guns on this. But she knew I had this YouTube channel and she asked me, "Why don't you do something on negotiating pay for women out there?" So that's why I did this. She gave me her email, her personal email, so that I could send this to her when I was done. So I hope I did her proud. So, in a bit, I'm going to give you 4 strong tips to help you feel confident and prepared when going in for an interview or a raise. First, let's talk about what men do. Well, men, they play by a different unspoken script. They are taught at an early age that asking is part of the process, it's not a risk. When they negotiate, it's not personal, it's business. And we ought to take some hints from that. They see it as two professionals reaching an agreement. Women, on the other hand, we take things and attach emotion to it. We worry, what if they think I'm difficult? What if they take back that offer? And what if I sound greedy? Men rarely think that way. They assume they're supposed to negotiate. And here's the kicker: studies have shown that men tend to use confident, forward phrases like, "I've led similar projects before. Here's what worked." While women might say, "Well, I could handle that if given the chance." See the difference? One assumes ability, and the other is asking for permission. And here's another difference: men are brief. They make a point, they pause, and then they let silence do the work. Women often rush in to fill that silence. They soften the ask or they explain too much. If you state your salary expectations and then feel the urge to justify it, just pause. Let the silence speak the confidence. And now, what type of company that you're applying for makes a big difference too. In small companies, they're often looking for someone adaptable, someone who wears many hats. So, in that setting, emphasize flexibility in personal investment. Say something like, I love working in environments where I can pitch in across departments. It keeps me creative and connected. Small businesses share value, also value loyalty. They want to believe that you're in it for the long haul. So don't show them that you're just a revolving door. Show them that you're a relationship hire. In a large company, well, that's a whole different ball game. They're looking for track records, system thinkers, and people who can fit into structured cultures. So lead with numbers. In my last role, I increased efficiency by 15% in 6 months by streamlining, and you fill in the blanks. Because big companies respond to measurable results, it's because they can see the return. And here's a bonus tip: whether it's a small or a large company, always close the interview with one strong question. What qualities do you see in people who succeed here long term? That's a fantastic question. That way, they have to tell you what they feel is the reason for the success of the long term people. And that gives you more information to rely on when talking further. Another question is, what is the biggest priorities in this position right now? It signals that you're not just looking for any job, you're looking up for fit and growth. So, how do you negotiate like a pro? Well, here's your tips in being prepared and confident. They're simple, they're realistic, and they're powerful. So, number one, do your research. Don't walk in guessing the salary range. Look up salary data in Glassdoor, PayScale, or salary.com, or even on your local job boards. If you're asking for a raise at your present company, quietly ask your peers what they're being paid. I know it's not normal. A lot of people don't want to speak about it, but maybe it's time for women to start working together on this type of thing. And then you want to do the research on yourself, which leads to number two: use confident scripts. Create a one-page sheet of your accomplishments, your emails, and praise sent to you. Any systems you may have created in your job, SOPs, standard of procedures that you may have updated or created, and money that you saved the company. Put them in order from best to last by and make a copy for the interviewer as you speak of them. You don't have to read them all off unless they want you to. You can concentrate on just the big ones. When you're asked about your qualifications for the job, use that one page of accomplishments and accolades. And at the end, say, do you have any questions that I can clarify to you about my qualifications? That lets them know that you're confident enough to talk about what you have written down. And if you waited for them to bring up that magic number first, instead of saying, well, I was hoping for something closer to, try this. Based on my experience and the market average for this role, I believe a salary around blah blah will be appropriate. Or you can wait until after the discussion about your qualifications and add, using my qualifications, I did the research on the pay scale for this company, name the company, and I am looking for a salary closer to $70,000 range. Do not say I was looking for a salary between 60,000 and 70,000. Make sure it is the number on the higher end because you just started the negotiations. They're going to counteroffer you and it will go lower. So doing this also gives you the advantage since you placed your offer first and your highest offer first. Then be silent. Take something out of the men's book. Be silent, pause, and let them ask you the questions. Don't blurt out why you feel justified with this salary. You've already stated those facts in your qualifications. So don't be afraid of the no. That is when the negotiations really begins. There is something that men, this is something that men do. They wait until the offer is firm and then they negotiate. So pay isn't the only thing you should be negotiating, especially if they're sticking to a lower number than you expected. Ask for an extra week of vacation, an extra personal days, or working from home and office. If there is an allowance for your cell phone, ask them if they're going to give you a cell phone. And if they say yes, that you only really want to work off of one cell phone, you don't really want to carry two around. You can say that in a nice way, and ask them if you can integrate it into your cell phone, therefore saving them money by buying you a phone, and just ask for the cell phone allowance. You may even be telling this company something they don't know, because many people are doing this out there that I have talked to. They don't want to carry two phones around anymore. So you may start saving them money before you even get the job. And then there is also the car allowance. If you're going to be using your car, uh, they probably have a set amount that they give, but ask them what it is. And if something's missing, for example, say wear and tear on your car, or new tires, or oil changes, or even car insurance, negotiate for those. But the most important thing, and this is one of the hardest, is know what your walkaway number is. If that negotiation goes below this number, as hard as it may seem, politely let them know that their number is too low for your qualifications, and then pause again. Give them the opportunity to go higher. And as the conversation continues, you may ask them if they can be a little bit more flexible with the pay. And if they won't, it is time to walk away. So do me a favor. If you're gaining insight in preparing for negotiations, or you know someone that is looking for a new job, share this video with them so that they can have the steps to be prepared. You'll be doing a really nice thing for them, and I would appreciate it. So, number 3 is going to be watch your tone. Be friendly, calm, and professional. I mean, men tend to speak slower and lower when discussing money. It projects confidence, so practice that pace yourself. Rehearse your qualifications and your ask for salary in a mirror, or videotape yourself so you can see how you are appearing in front of your interviewer, that you're smiling, that you're confident. Make sure that you feel good when you watch that video back. And number 4, don't be afraid to ask about reviews early, especially if they have said they have reviews annually every year. This is a key one. If you accept a lower offer, say, I know reviews are typically annual, but could we plan for maybe a 6-month checkup, to evaluate my progress and my contributions? That one sentence plants a seed of accountability. It signals that you are results oriented, and also gives you a future opportunity to revisit pay with data in hand. And if you're already at a job and you feel it's time for a review, maybe your company doesn't have them, or nothing's been said to you about a review. This is your time to ask about it. And if they agree for the 6-month review, great. But what you do before that meeting matters a lot. Start that one page of accolades and accomplishments all over again. Keep a running list of what you've achieved since you started working there. Did you solve a problem that no one else caught? Did a client compliment you? Did you save time or money on a project? Write it all down. When the review rolls around, you won't rely on your memory. You'll have all the evidence in front of you. And what's more important is, about 1 month before that review, see if you can connect with them for just a few minutes of their time, and remind them that you're aware that that 6-month review is a month away, so they can't say they forgot. And say, I'm wondering if we could set the date for that. It shows that you're proactive and you take time seriously. And say that, I'd just like to take a couple minutes of your time just to let you know that since I've been here, just give them a couple of highlights. Thank them for their time and leave. Remember, you only asked them for a couple minutes, so keep it to a couple minutes. Don't sit down and get comfortable. By doing this, you're providing them with the time to look over the budget, talk to whoever it is that they may have to talk to about giving you a raise when it's time for that scheduled review. And if they don't increase your pay after proving your worth, don't be discouraged. You just built leverage for a raise at that annual review, or maybe a stronger offer elsewhere. At least they know that you are worth more money. They know that what you're looking for as far as money goes, and it will definitely make them remember and add your raise to the budget before that annual review. So don't give up there. One of the biggest secrets that men use in negotiation is timing. They wait until the offer is firm and then they make their case. Women sometimes bring it up too early, when we still feel unsure about how the company sees us. Are they going to hire us or not? So wait until they've decided they want you. It's pretty obvious when that time happens. And that's when your voice has power. Body language matters too, shoulders back, slow nods, hands on the table, nod crossed. And when you speak your number, don't rush to fill the silence. The pause says, I meant what I said. Listen carefully when the interviewer is speaking. Use what they are saying about the position and what is needed from you. Speak on what you can do for them to accommodate this need. And let's all also remember that money isn't everything, but it is a reflection of our time and our energy. And so when women settle for less, it's deflating. So make sure that you go in prepared. The next time you walk into an interview or a raise discussion, remember this, be the confident woman that you are. You belong there. Because I can tell you this, you would not have applied for that job if you didn't think that it was a perfect fit for you. We have all done that when we have read over job descriptions and knew this one's perfect. So you belong there. And if you ever doubt that, take a breath and remember confidence is contagious. And the more you show it, the more they'll believe it. And next time on So Curious, we're going to be diving into another conversation of what about? But I'll give you a hint on this video. We're going to be talking about understanding the relationship between men and women. This episode is so good that I had to actually break it down into 5 parts because there is so much about a woman and man relationship to cover. And I think you'll be excited because if you're ever curious on why he needs a man cave, or you're curious on to why she thinks you're never listening, well, get ready for some interesting facts. So the next time you find yourself in a negotiating position, refer back to this video for those tips so you go in prepared. And until the next time, bye.